Hi.
Hey. He's still there. He's not going for the count. Down for the count. So, hey, happy Sunday, everybody. We were going to have Beth Ellen on today, but for some reason she can't be on. So, we're going to try to book her another day sometime in the hopefully near future. So, you're just going to have to look at our faces today. No Beth Allen today. Sorry. If anybody was really, really looking forward to seeing her, she'll be on with us soon, sooner than later. So we're going to talk about paranormal presidents, anything that was a spiritual experience or a spiritual encounter with the presidents, anything from the White House being haunted, things going on in the White House, things going on at the residences of the old houses that the presidents lived in, or even aliens, UFOs, or maybe even some Bigfoot might get thrown in there. Hey, Pamela. Hey, Troy. Hey, Debbie.
Hey, everyone.
And we have a fan that is our biggest fan in the background. And I'm proud to call him our fan. He's our fan.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can put him on the camera if you want to. I don't care. Hey, paranormal consultant. I mean, sometimes Lincoln hijacks the show. So, whatever. Hey, Gabe. So I'm going to go ahead and share out. Who wants to go first while I share everywhere? Hey, Linda. Eileen, you want to go first, Eileen. Come on, Eileen.
Really? Well, I can't because you got the pictures you'll have to share, and so Zonay. So does Jackie have photos? Oh, she's muted, I think.
If you want to go ahead and start telling all the different people that you're going to touch on A, then I can just hurry up and share and then come back and pull in the photos because there's several different people.
Kind of what I'm going to touch on is I couldn't decide. So because I couldn't decide because there were so many fascinating stories. So I just kind of picked a few that I found interesting. And one of them was President William Henry Harrison. And then also First Lady Abigail Adams, and then the First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln, and then Anna Surratt. I found those stories kind of interesting. And through Mary Todd Lincoln, her story that I'm going to mention President Andrew Jackson. Just little tidbits, but I love the pictures. They were great. And the stories were kind of fascinating. There wasn't too much in-depth stuff, of course, but, that's why I figured I could just kind of put them all together and talk about all of them. I found them really interesting.
I'll go ahead and pull the photos up now.
Okay, good.
Shared out. Everyone that's on here, if you don't care, share. Sharing is caring. And the more people that watch us, the more people we have to talk to, the more Hey Boo fans we have, or Things Network fans, and follow Things Network on YouTube as well. And at the end of this, we're going to talk about a project that Jeremy wants us to talk about before we go. So if anyone wants to know about the Paranormal Giving Tree, then we're going to talk about that before we get off today too.
Donald,
before we go.
Yes, I am feeling better. Thank you.
Oh wait, wrong side.
And Donald, I'm glad you're feeling better. Stay in quarantine.
I said something. I was trying to retract what I said because it didn't sound good. I was like, how do I make that sound better? Alright, Facebook.
Okay, so do I keep talking?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm pulling it up right now.
All right, yeah. So I didn't know if you mind me just keep filling. Like, I could talk about all kinds of stuff.
What are you going to talk about first, female or male?
I'm going to talk about male.
Okay. I'm pulling up this photo first. Let's see if it's the one you want. Who dis?
Okay, that, if I'm correct, is William Henry Harrison. And the story about him the brief little story that I got about him was that he was the first president to die in the White House, which so he haunts the attic. And he was president for 31 days before he died in 1841. But so, and for some weird reason, his ghost haunts the third. Oh my gosh, the attic, right? So it was the attic for some reason, but now since there's been construction and reconstruction and renovations and stuff, it is now considered the third floor in the White House. So I'm thinking that kind of might be what activated possibly his, made it happen. Maybe probably started that, but because that always seems to happen during the renovations and stuff like that in houses and homes, where people everything was fine until we started, remodeling or something. So I kind of feel like maybe that might have been what kind of started his hauntings. And I thought oh, he haunts the attic. And I thought that was really odd. But then when I read further into it, it says oh, then there was renovations and it was made into the third, which is now considered the third third floor. So it's not necessarily the attic anymore. So if you go there for a tour or something, you don't have to wait or be brought to the attic. So I just kind of thought that was pretty interesting and really short term there, 31 days. So, but, and then let's go with, let's see. Let's go with Abigail Adams. Do you have her?
All right. Let me downsize the screen. I do. I'm not sure which one she is, but
I think she's the one in the colored one.
Okay.
The colored one?
Yeah.
Okay,
good. Well, I'm finding it and pulling it up, and I want to share everything. I might have secret information here that he doesn't need to know,
like your bank account.
Or like a safe that's full of gold, and I might have the combination, and I don't want everyone to see it. For real though, my dad would be like that. He told everybody and my mom that he buried coffee cans full of money.
In my grandfather's land, there's money buried somewhere, and they could never find it, and then my grandmother had to sell the property. And then after she sold it, coincidentally, they were putting a pool in and came across a lot of money.
You sent them to me just in our private chat, and I don't know why I don't see it anymore. It's just got a 3-person chat now. That's weird. Where did it go?
Here, I'm fixing to resend it.
Oh no, it wasn't yours. It was her stuff.
No, but I'm gonna resend it because I see it.
You need to resend it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. Is it because I had opened it already and I closed it?
I did it in Hey Boo.
Yeah, I'm about to say, do you? I just resent it.
Okay. I thought you sent it in a personal. Okay.
No, Hey Boo.
There she is. The colored one, the colorful photo.
Yes,
you said.
colorful one. Yes.
All right. Oh, these are such good photographs. I love old photographs. So much more awesome. I mean, I know we have, more detail now, more pixelization and all that stuff with new photography. But man, look at that.
Yeah. And that is First Lady Abigail Adams. And it's reported that the staff now has seen her hanging laundry in the East Room of the White House. And because that's where she used to do her laundry. She used to hang her laundry and do her laundry. And so now what they do is they actually can see her and smell the wet laundry and the scent of lavender.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that was, I found that kind of interesting. I'm like, okay, well that's, so when you're smelling lavender, then you can think of that's who it is. It's Abigail Adams. And to think that she, as First Lady, was hanging her own laundry. But okay, found that interesting. I think someone would have helped her with that.
That means they're calmed by her presence because of the smell of lavender.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that would really help, especially if they're seeing her apparition hanging the laundry. So that would definitely help. And then
Lady
the next
Lavender.
lady I have, let's see, which one do we have?
I'm trying to click.
You have Anna Surratt. That is the, where is she? what do I have? Where do I have her? Anna Surratt. Where's her picture? I don't know where her picture is. Let's see.
Sorry, I'm clicking the X and it's not letting me X out so I can pull up the next photo. I don't know why. This is my daughter's computer. She's going to kill me. The cat had knocked it off when I came to use it. The cat had knocked it off and I was like, man, this is it. Yeah, I don't know why the cat plays with the computer in the middle of the night anyways, but okay, it's not edible. There we go. It's either to the left or the right. Is that one her?
That is Anna Surratt. And the story about her is that she is the daughter of Mary Surratt. And what the story is, as far as the White House is concerned, and presidents and all that, is that she bangs on the door of the White House and pleading for the President Andrew Johnson to please pardon her mother, who happens to be the Lincoln assassination conspirator. That's Mary Surratt. So Anna is the one who is, when they hear banging on the White House doors, that is Anna Surratt's spirit banging on them, still kind of reliving and banging on them for her mother's sake. So, which, since that is, leads to the Lincoln assassination conspirator. So that leads to Lincoln. So that's Mary Lincoln. So that leads to First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln. And that would be the next lady picture there you'll have there.
It's going to be here.
And I thought that was kind of interesting how they all just kind of connect. And there is First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln. And
I like her headpiece. That's neat.
And what's about her, the story about her is that, one, she used to hold seances in the Red Room in the White House and is said to have communed with the spirit of President Andrew Jackson. And they've actually reported hearing President Jackson swearing and stomping through the executive residence and he haunts the Rose Room. But what I find is really interesting about Mary Todd, what I loved about her, is that because I almost have a little bit of a personal experience with her in a sense. I heard her voice and through a spirit box session, and it was quite chilling. So it's, and as a medium, you just kind of like, you can know and tell and sense when something is happening, and when it seems to be, when I feel it's real, it like kind of affects me physically. And so when she was basically in a seance-ish type situation with the spirit box being called upon to communicate with us, she came through, and I got to hear her voice, and it was pretty interesting and cool. And there was she's actually been in the news lately, or not in the news, but in like I think she was a show. They did a show about her, but on TV just recently. But so that's basically really all I have. But I mean, I found it all to be interesting, and I found that William Henry Harrison. What caught my attention with President William Henry Harrison is that he was like, he haunts the attic. I was like, that caught my eye. I'm like, he haunts the attic. I'm like, why would he do that? Like, what was he doing in the attic that he would haunt that? But it turns, so I still couldn't find any information as to why he would haunt the attic. But currently now it's the third floor. So, but and I loved how the smell of lavender still, and people see Abigail Adams, and and they smell lavender, and that's so cool. I don't know. I just, all these different little things going on in the White House that we don't even know, and it's really fun that if we were ever to like tour around it, these could be things that we could hear probably, or see, or smell. So anyway, that's my story.
And you're sticking to it.
And that was Andrew Jackson at the very end that she was talking about, the seance being communicated with him, the communication being made with him. That was the last photo.
Oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, that was the last photo.
Okay. I close that out.
I figured I'd throw him in there, his face in there, so you knew who I was talking about.
All right. And I'm looking at Eileen's photos. Eileen, are you ready?
Sure, why not?
I'm pulling up your stuff.
So I did mine, as a lot of people know, I'm kind of strange, and I don't go with the main gist of everything. So I kind of went a little differently on presidents. I like to deal with things that kind of involve Mississippi or people who are like in my family tree and things like that. So I chose to do Jefferson Davis, who was the first and only president of the Confederate States. He does have some ties to the White House because he was married to Zachary Taylor's first, or his first wife was Zachary Taylor's daughter, and that's where he falls into my family tree, is through the Taylors. Upon doing the research, there is a location in outside of Biloxi, Mississippi, called the Beauvoir. It was built in 1852. It was not built by Jefferson Davis, but he wrote his memoirs there back in 1877. And in 1878, when his second wife came to live with him and his kids, he decided he was going to purchase the home. He purchased it for $5,500, and he was going to make it in installments. When he made it in installments, he actually only made one installment, and the homeowner actually passed away and left him the home in her will. Of course, when Davis died in December 6th, 1889, his family ended up moving to New York City, but he left the house to his daughter Winnie. People who have visited this location has a lot of different things on the location site. There is a graveyard behind it, which holds about 780, I believe, yes, graves full of Confederate soldiers and their wives. There's other things on this location, including the Presidential Library. Jefferson Davis has been spotted walking around the grounds of the home. The picture that you just went through, that is Beauvoir.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been spotted walking around outside, to the point where people will be like, talk about when they do reenactments, how the reenactor looks so much like him. And they're like, we don't have anybody reenacting for him.
That's crazy.
And there was one sighting that I read, that a lady was taking pictures and stepped back into the flower bed. And one of the reenactors that looked like him, they did not have the reenactor, came up and actually scolded her for stepping into the flower bed. So she went up to the people who worked there and kind of was like, hey, this person was so rude and all that. Well, they reminded her she needs to stay off the flower bed and all anyways. But again, there was no reenactors. There's a picture of the lady.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the pictures I got, I did pick up from SPARS. This home is open for tours and things like that. Right now, I think they're shutting it down for
this one right here, right?
Yeah, they're shutting it down because of COVID right now, but I think they're going to start back up in February. But I asked who they felt that was in that photo. I don't know if you can see the lady to the left, but they believe that is Winnie Davis, which would be Jefferson Davis's daughter. And if you go to the statue, there's a statue with the two boys. One of them is supposed to be, it was donated to them, and one of them is a little black boy named Jim. Miss Davis saw him getting, basically abused by a woman, and she was not happy about it. So she took in the little boy. And so they don't know if they adopted him or whatever, but in the picture with the window, they do believe there's a small, the young black boy, and I don't know if it's supposed to be the same one or not, but is in that photo, and there was no one in the house when the photo was taken. There's a lot more photos that were sent, that have been taken of this location. Some where you can see a woman's face in shutters, different things like that. So if y'all are interested in it, like I said, they do tours. They do they set them up. They have a schedule, but they are holding on to it till February. But, you know, it's a very interesting place. I have not personally been there. Donald, if you're still on, that is a trip we all need to make. But I've heard so much about this location, and a lot of things around here are said to be haunted by Jefferson Davis. But this is one of the only locations I've ever heard people actually think he's a reenactor of how much somebody looks like him, how much they can see. It's not just an image. They actually have talked to him. So he loved the location. The view is a gorgeous view from the house. So that's pretty much all I have. You can read more about it, or you can go visit the location.
Yeah. And aren't you related to them, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm related through Zachary Taylor. My family, my lineage went somewhere and kind of messed up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because I always told my daddy, I was like, we have some very well-known, on all sides of my family, some very well-known people. Somewhere someone effed up and we became the poetest ones in the family. Right. I got presidents every which way you look, but
no, yeah, I think we're actually connected through we're related somehow through a president.
Yeah, I think it was George Bush.
George Bush.
Yep.
Y'all are too?
Yeah, I think she said she's got George Bush.
I'm related to George Bush, yeah.
Yeah, okay, because I talked to one of y'all about that, because my dad said that I was related to him. My dad said.
Are?
Yes, and I had talked to one of y'all about that too. I don't remember. That's crazy. George Bush,
when he got voted in, I was like, where the hell's my invite to the White House? I want to go to him.
Well, see, Zachary Taylor did not want his daughter to marry Jefferson Davis because he didn't want her kind of being involved with someone that was that much into the military and all. And whatever it was, I don't remember because this is on my genealogy. He actually retired or left or whatever just so he could marry Sarah. And she was only alive 3 months into their marriage because they started heading down to New Orleans and they both got malaria. And he recovered from it, but she died 3 months after they got married. So, but it was said that he never stopped loving her.
Oh.
They were so romantic back then, weren't they?
I know.
Do what?
I said they were so romantic back then.
Those are hard to find now.
Is now a good time for you, Jackie, or do you want me to go first? You want me to go first? Okay. I was going to check with her because I think she's muted. Okay, I'm going to talk about something that I've always been kind of intrigued with, and I've heard several different researchers and college scholars, different scientists and theologists talk about this. That when Eisenhower was in office, that he was at a country club golfing in California, and it was at Palm Springs, and he was golfing at the Smoke Tree. What's it called? The Smoke Tree Lounge or something like that. I'll see it here in a second. But so there had been some kind of a report that came in of a crash of a UFO landing while he was there, and mysteriously he had to leave. And some of the whereabouts that he had, or the time where he went and when he left, wasn't accounted for through his story of telling everyone he had to go to the dentist. It's believed that, and also there have been witnesses and wives of witnesses that have been interviewed. There's 3 different people that I can even actually name that are very highly regarded people, researchers, and highly regarded scientists that graduated college, that dug up and had newspaper articles, military articles, and interviews with wives of those involved that were supposed to have been in security details during the meetings of extraterrestrials when he was getting his tooth that he chipped fixed at the dentist. So the dates that I wrote down, there was something that happened at the Joshua Tree National Park, and that's in Roswell, New Mexico. near Death Valley. And there have been countless alien sightings there, even up till today at that park. Palm Springs is where he was at doing a golf trip by the Coachella Valley. And then he got a call. And he had to call his wife and tell her also that he was going to be leaving and going to the dentist. And she didn't believe him. She thought he was lying and asked him where he was really going or who he was going to really see. And I guess he didn't actually even give her that information because of his status, of anonymity. Is that a word? But this happened on February 20th, 1954. He made a trip to the Edwards Air Force Base in Kern City, left the Smoke Tree Ranch is where he was at, to go to a dentist visit, an emergency dentist visit, because he shipped his tooth, supposedly. And he also was said to have, after that, actually had 2 other meetings at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. And had communication to meet at those places through telepathic messages from extraterrestrials, is what the FBI had reported. The parties met on 3 different occasions. There were many, many witnesses. I've heard different interviews done on like Coast to Coast and stuff about the evidence and the articles, like paper, like hard copied paper, like evidence. I don't know what the documents are. I can't remember, but there's like actual stuff that's been released on a website. There's The Fringe is one website that you can go to where FBI has actually released certain documents about different things that have happened throughout history. And then there's another one. I can pull it up or put it in the comments later. Anyways, he had 3 different meetings with aliens. The first aliens that he met with, and I've never even heard of these aliens, which is weird because I've actually been talking to some people around me at Runestone State Park. And I thought it was really weird. The first aliens he met with were called the Nordics because they resembled Nordic humans, Nordic culture, Nordic people. Yeah, so the first meeting was supposed to have been with the Nordics, and they were discussing, they were trying to make a deal with him, supposedly, about him not using, what did you call it? Warfare, some kind of, I don't know, explosive warfare, explosives during warfare, because supposedly when we actually would do stuff like that, and other countries do stuff like that, like Russia or whoever, we're bombing each other back and forth, bombs over Baghdad, it actually affects and ripples all the way out to the extraterrestrial races, and they can feel it, and it actually alters their time zones and timelines, which I totally understand. Like, that makes sense to me. Knowing what I know now, in the paranormal field, knowing what I know now, it makes sense to me. He didn't agree to that with them, the first meeting. The second meeting he had was with the Greys, the alien Greys, and it was actually documented by the FBI, and it said meeting with the alien Greys, Greys. And that was supposed to have been and this is not fact, I don't know, I'm just going by cross-referencing, because I don't just go by what I hear. I actually look up articles, and they have to be by a credible person. The gray aliens asked him to exchange the abduction of certain humans and cattle to be able to research and collect, I guess, evidence, or maybe specimens or DNA. I don't know. And he supposedly, and I'm not saying he did this, agreed to it as long as they were in agreement to go and the humans were returned with no harm done to them. The third meeting, I did not get to any articles about it or evidence about it or interviews about it. But I believe it was also with the gray aliens again. And I don't know, if it was a follow-up about the second meeting or something different, or something went awry. Or, I do know that in the interviews that I heard on Coast to Coast, that originally one of the alien races, which is probably the third meeting, offered to, no, it was the first ones, it was the Nordics. They offered to give us their technology, give it to human man, in order for us to agree to not ever release our ordinances again in war. And at that time, he disagreed to do that. They wanted to give us their technology to build things the way that they have things, like, that can fly faster than, what we can see, or what we've achieved so far in our technology advancements. And I had gotten to an article, which I'll probably post it in the comments because it's the best article so far I found, but not the best evidence or like the best person that's followed up about him. So I'll post more than one. But there was actually an interview done with the wife of one of the security details, and there was interviews done with several of the men that were supposed to have stood security during the extraterrestrial meetings. So that is all I have on that for now.
That's interesting. And I think if I was to be abducted, I'd probably want the Thor looking ones.
Yeah, probably me too. I just always felt connected to like Vikings and Nordics. I don't know. I feel like they would be my soul tribe or something. Mm-hmm. As long as it's not Loki.
Yeah. No, Loki's not really,
I know he's not, yeah.
He's like an ice giant.
Yeah. So, your turn, Jackie.
Yay. Okay, mine's on George Washington. George Washington was born February 22nd, 1732, died December 14th, 1799. Was an American soldier, statesman, and founding father who served as the first president of the United States from 1789 to 1797. George Washington, on the evening of December 14th, 1799, at Mount Vernon, George Washington passed away of throat infection after riding through a wet and snowy wintry mix several days earlier. He was buried 4 days later on December 18th at a family vault at Mount Vermont.
Vermont?
So, yeah, that's it. I probably forgot the T. So, the most interesting thing of all is the bedrooms. The bedroom that belonged to George Washington, in which he died in. Many people slept in the room, felt presence of him being in there. It's one thing to see a ghost, but it's another thing to feel the presence of a ghost. It's totally different. Some people say they can hear Washington's sword clicking distinctly in the corner, or they can hear footsteps in the bedroom, or they can see like when one night one of the guests had a candle and something blew the candle out.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they had different things going on.
You got photos. I'm going to pull them up. You sent me photos a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And he also told his wife, let me see if I can find it. Oh, maybe I didn't save it. Yeah, the first one is one of them that felt the presence of George Washington standing in the corner.
Rosie, I think hers is on Hey Boo.
Yeah, mine's on Hey Boo.
Why will it not close? I'm telling you. Or maybe because I'm sharing it will if I stop sharing. I wonder if that's a thing. No.
Linda, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, I wonder if people hear the clacking of wind.
Oh my gosh. I was going to, oh my gosh. That's funny. I've had actually somebody say something about that one time, I think. What is that clacking noise? And I'm like, that clicking noise is me on the keyboard. That's me.
but that's all. I read a lot. I just couldn't find anybody that said they actually saw him.
I'm just gonna show the photos and then
Only thing they heard was like noises and felt presence.
this is a casket.
Yep, that's the casting.
That's neat. It just looks like a suitcase or a big guitar case.
And that's like two women that was sleeping in the room that felt the presence of him
Yeah,
standing in the
Washington
corner.
Ghost Haunts Mount Vernon.
And I think that is the Mount Vernon mansion
Wow.
where he stayed at.
That's beautiful.
And that is
Isn't
yeah.
it?
It is beautiful, yeah. It looks very well conditioned too. Oh, wrong person.
I have to say, I mean, there were many people that died in the White House.
I wanted to show this because there's a newspaper article clipping in it. See right there.
Yeah.
Incredible story. They tried to hide for 28 years. Ike met space aliens. President Dwight Eisenhower met with beings from outer space almost 30 years ago. A British high government official reveals. And there's like a lot of government officials that actually spoke out about this.
About aliens?
About Eisenhower meeting with aliens, supposedly. Like, there's a UFO expert. I don't know. I haven't read anything about him. His name is Lord Concerty or something like that.
So could he be one of the first people that saw aliens?
I have no idea. I would imagine like
I mean,
before that people did.
back
Yeah.
then, right? Eisenhower.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
I guess he's probably one of the first people that had a
Encounter.
intelligent physical communication with them, where he wasn't abducted. He wasn't abducted in any of the articles. They even said that it was said that he was transported to the location to meet with them in something like a container that I think would have sounded kind of like a Faraday cage to me, which is what you can put pieces of equipment in so that they can't be altered from any other. They can't receive the signal from anything else, and they can't be detected. So he was put in supposedly some kind of box. I don't know if I would do that or not. I mean, that's basically like saying, hey, I don't care if I live anymore, see the light of day. But supposedly it was transported to the location to look at the aliens or to speak with the aliens in some kind of box, specifically like designed with the technology, higher technology.
I mean, you got to give. I mean, I know it has to be hard to come out and talk about it all, especially back then. But I mean, more and more presidents were starting to speak up a little bit more, and they were starting. I mean, on any aspect of it, whether it be paranormal, whether it be aliens, something like that.
Oh my God!
They just keep getting. It's like they want to, but they just keep getting blocked.
Yeah, I'm sure that they have some kind of presidential duty to not just come right out and cause some kind of mass chaos by announcing, hey, I hung out with aliens last night and they were pretty awesome and this is what they wanted.
And I mean, you've got, in a way, I do understand it because it would cause a lot of chaos. I mean, you have, people who would just freak out and, I mean, think the end of the world's coming.
And he had a military background, so I feel like that would have a lot to do with him not wanting to agree to give up weapons of mass destruction in order for technology from them to advance. But as I dug further and further, there was actually more articles by different people that suggested that one of the alien races, like their main goal to give us that technology was to help us to stop sabotaging and self-destructing our human race and the earth. Like to wake us up and to tell us, hey, you guys are killing your own selves and you have missions to complete here on this earth and you're just lazy and y'all are all disgusting and we're watching you with question marks over our heads, like trying to offer you this cup of knowledge and you won't take it.
Yeah, well, where's the fun in that? I mean, come on.
See, and I like
Right?
I like what Pamela said, and I do think there's, I wonder too if there's more acceptance with stuff, um, or is it just, are they still just trying to go with some of the information that's already been proven to be known, per, you know, per se, because there are so many people who would still, no matter what you put out there, that would just, I mean, just go crazy if we knew, I mean, if they knew the truth of anything out there.
Huh. Yeah, he was supposed to have been visiting, and I didn't know this. I don't like American Horror Story, but I will watch this season 10 now because in the season 10, half of the season is about what I just talked about. Dwight Eisenhower and him leaving and going to that meeting and looking at aliens from the crash site and their dead bodies, and one of them still being alive and communicating with us. And season 10, like 6 episodes are about a certain thing, and then they switch over to 6 episodes, I think, being about that. And it's called Take Me to Your Leader was the second part of it. Yeah, so I'll probably go and watch that also. But he was also known to be open to the ideas of life on other planets and stuff. He was known to be, I see,
Yeah.
I want to see, show me, I want to see things. I want to see it with my own eyes to believe it because I want to believe. That kind of person.
Well, since the three of us are basically related to Bush, I thought I'd put in a little bit of something that, because I was trying to find it, because I was like going, well, how can I want to do something where I have a connection with, but there wasn't much of anything here. But since the three of us are now, related, I wanted to just kind of mention that, when it came to someone connected or something haunted connected to us, in a sense, then the Bush sisters, Jenna and Barbara, have reported hearing opera singing from the 1920s piano music kind of stuff, music from there in their fireplace. The music was coming from their fireplace in their bedroom.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's
awesome.
That's all I got for for that. But I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, and that would be weird to have opera singing and 1920s music coming from your fireplace. So
I mean, there's too much that happened at the White House, and I mean, anywhere that someone that is over the government one way or the other has been at for long periods of time. There's just too much that goes on for things not to be attached to a haunting, especially the White House or places like that. And then people forget that these people were attached to other places before they went to the White House or after the White House, because that was just their temporary home.
Yep.
And I mean, they were still people, and they had their drama in their life, just like we do. But there's just kept theirs a little bit more secretive.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe worse though, because they couldn't be out with everything all the time. That's funny. She said, pun intended, too much stress and deadlines at the White House.
I mean, one thing that, like we talked about with family ancestry and all, that I found interesting about Zachary Taylor is that, when he went to the White House, he had to send his son up to Canada because his son was of mixed race and he loved his son to death. And when he entered the White House, he knew that his son couldn't come. And so he sent him up to Canada. I mean, how hard did that have to be to, his son supposedly was like at his coattails all the time. And just because of his son's race, he had to go to the White House without him. I mean, just the little things that we don't think about that people have.
I hope that he had a good, safe place to stay and a good, like a good journey, like a new part of life that he learned to lead when he moved there. That would be good if he did.
Yeah, I think he ended up coming back to the United States years and years later, but I don't remember if he went back to Canada or not.
Because I'd
But
say,
I mean,
like, other than missing your parents or your family, he probably was better off not being near the White House anyways. He was
yeah,
safer in
during
all
that time frame.
aspects. Yeah.
But I mean, that's what people. I mean, we just don't think about is some of the stuff that has to be left behind,
Yeah.
especially in the old, in the old days. Maybe not so
Hmm.
much, now, but in the old days, you go into this strange, huge location, and the only people you know are your immediate family. And you have to get to know everyone else that's around you.
Yeah, and if you're in that kind of status and position, most of those people aren't going to be true to you anyways, and they're not going to be unique and authentic. They're going to be fake, and you
Hmm.
don't really know who you can trust at that point.
They're after people will be after stuff that they want for themselves, or
Hmm.
kiss your butt, or
Yeah.
so I could never be a politician. I'm not a good butt kisser.
That's a lady who's in Facebook jail.
I don't guess I don't know if I could be a good politician because I don't like to lie. I just have like an ethos that I'm like against lying, so I don't know if I could or not. I couldn't be dishonest all the time. That would heat me up at night. So you want to talk about the paranormal giving tree and the locations that you know that are already possibly booked or set up for Jeremy's project?
Well, what the Paranormal Giving Tree is, this year they are doing it for veterans. If your team would be interested in donating the time, let me see the exact date here. But we're looking for teams that can
July the
donate.
30th.
Do what?
It's July the 30th, the
Okay,
night of
thank you.
July the 30th.
Thank you. I didn't have to look that up. But on July 30th, we are looking for locations that'll donate or places that'll donate their locations, as well as teams that will donate their time to take veterans on in paranormal investigations. I know that Old Stone Jail, they're donating their time and location on that day. So if you have a location, a location, you can go to the Paranormal Giving Tree on Facebook.
I'm going to put the
Um,
link in the comments right now.
okay, yeah, because I can't. 11 more days, and then I'll be back in jail. So if you do have a location that you go to a lot, reach out to those owners or the people who manage the location, see if they're willing to donate their location, and if y'all want to donate your time to help, um, show the veterans around for the paranormal investigation. We want this to go around the United States, so just look it up and uh, let
Under
us
Things
know what you
Networks
got.
comment, that's the link to the Paranormal Giving Tree. And where it says Things Network at 6:52 p.m., that's the link.
I think that covered it all. I'm not sure.
I'm
My
going to go
brain's
ahead
still
and...
not 100% on target yet.
So, yeah, if you click on that link, you can go to the page and it explains. Jeremy made like a pamphlet or whatever you want to call it, or like a banner type thing that where he explains what's going on, what's the mission, what's the dates, and all of that stuff that you can reach out and book to join in on that project.
I know last year he said he did the first responders, and it was a pretty good turnout. So this year it's focused on veterans.
And you said Broken Bow's already booked up that day?
Yes. Yes.
I wasn't going to ask them anyways. There's a
know there's
submarine here. A submarine here that is decommissioned that is
and that's
open
Troy.
for...
My brain has never been functioning correctly, but especially right now it's not.
Yeah, there's another haunted location and then a submarine. I was wanting to see if one of those would... Although submarine would be perfect because it's a veteran thing. That'd be awesome if they'd let us use that submarine to do investigations on that. Nah.
Yeah, I was going to reach out to Beauvoir and see, but I know, like I said, they've got a lot going on right now. with COVID. And then, like I said, Old Stone Jail is definitely in. And there's somebody else, but I didn't go back through the chat and see exactly who else has donated or donated
Mm-hmm.
things.
I need to look too. And there's comments on the page too of people that are trying to work on a network locations to be donated for that project also.
And you do not have to be a part of things to do anything with this. This is open to everyone. This is for the veterans. This is not for specific networks. This is not for specific people. This is open to everyone to help out.
I'm sure he haunts somewhere.
I don't know if he would haunt the White House as much as I think he would their house, their actual house that they had. What was that at?
Or where his
Kennedy.
demise was met, I guess. Like where he actually got left this earth, I guess. Where he was at when he actually died.
Oh, at the grassy knoll.
Because sometimes I don't know, like if a tragic death happens, it seems like it's when you get your residual hauntings or whatever. Or
thank you, Martha's Vineyard. I could not think of the name of it. Hey, sweetie.
Oh, hi dear. How are you doing? What are you doing? Are you driving Moma nuts? And Pawpaw?
Ghost.
He said goats. Okay, he wants a goat. Goats outside. Don't y'all have goats still?
Pigs.
No, I thought you had some goats. Y'all did though, didn't you?
No. No. I don't think I'm that lucky. No. He wouldn't.
Somebody posted a photo of some goats that they had in the great thing.
Dakota, what did you do? There you go. All right, go play with Papa.
No one wants to play with Papa.
I have 4 pretty ladies to look at instead. Why would I want to go to Papa?
Quiet.
So we have 3 minutes left. I should have picked another person. See, that's why I was like, oh, no, go ahead. Do as many as you want. Because I was going to get another one. That's what I'll probably do is have another person just in case we have several minutes.
All right. Well, you know what? We got, what's this? President Reagan's dog, Rex, is heard barking in the doorways of the Lincoln bedroom. So he's suspected as
That's awesome.
A ghost visitor.
Well, now Reagan's wife did believe in the paranormal. Now Lady Bird Johnson, she's from Texas, and she loved Jefferson, Texas. So if anybody ever goes out to Jefferson, Texas, I've heard that her spirit still every now and then visits there.
Mm-hmm. And
my dad actually went to school with her, sister, cousin, something like that, and out in Jefferson.
And then there's also sightings of Lincoln's son, Willie, who died when he was 12 years old. There's sightings of him at the White House also. He died of typhoid.
Really?
Typhoid fever, yeah. Yep. 3 years before he did. And but that's right. Did we already talk about that? How his son was, dug up basically and then brought on the train with him to it was supposed to be the presidential train, and it was Lincoln was supposed to be the first one to ride in it. It was because it was made for him specifically, and he never got to ride in it alive. He was assassinated, so they dug up his son's casket, and the two of them toured, all the way through. They got to wherever their destination was, Illinois. I can't remember. It was last week's story.
Yeah.
And Linda is Lincoln's son.
Yeah,
I didn't know that they took his son.
Yeah, they dug him up and they brought him home with his dad, I guess. So that was that must have been some kind of journey for whoever had to take care of those caskets.
Yeah. Or the digger themselves, whoever had to dig it and then get it back out. I bet that doesn't happen that often.
You know, I'm like tempted to put my history teacher, make him start watching these shows. Going, I listened in class.
Actually, I never listened. I hated history because it was so boring. All they do would make you do study the dates, and that's it. Like, and it's like, this is boring. But once I like learned about the History Channel and Discovery Channel, I was like, wow, I love history. Why didn't they do it like that? So
See, I was the history nerd. I was the 4.0 average in history type thing. I was the major history nerd, and still am.
I was the chatty, the chatty one that skipped a lot.
I'll never forget. Of course, this is back in the 90s when
Skipped a
people
lot.
could tell you whatever they wanted to tell you. And me and my group of friends, we were sitting in the back and we were talking. And one of the girls up front was talking, and she got in trouble, got moved. And I started talking. She goes, "Why aren't you moving out of the lane?" He said, "Well, because A, wherever she moves, she's going to find someone to talk to. And B, she's got 100 average in the class. When you have 100 average, I'll let you
That's
talk to."
my daughter. She always had the high grades, but she got in so much trouble for talking. They put her next to the teacher's desk, and she talked to herself.
I talked to the teachers.
They were like, she ain't got nobody to talk to. She's talking to herself.
Either that or I would ditch class. Boring.
What's funny is I didn't talk to everybody. Wherever I moved, people moved by me, and they would just talk to me. And then I'd get in trouble.
I had my little softball girls. We had the cheerleading girls. We had the, it was like all these different cliques every which way. So I was friends with everyone.
About this exactly, but
I didn't have anybody at school I didn't like.
I had a history teacher who told about the naughty behind the scenes stories of historical people. That'd be interesting too.
An interesting class.
If it kept you awake and you learned stuff, you know what I mean, and it wasn't too bad.
Do we have somebody behind us? Because
I was gonna say I think we gotta go. I think there's someone coming on behind us. So everyone, thank you for watching.
Ladies. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching. Y'all have a good Sunday night. Bye.